What's up, everybody? This is Andy again, and here I'm going to start putting in some parts in Ableton to this song we've created. So go back and watch our last video on getting started. What I've done is I've put a guide track in. I've lined that up to tempo with the click and the cue tracks, and the order of the song is as we're going to be playing it. So you can see some of these parts are sliced up a little bit. But that goes over how many times we're doing the bridge and so on. Um, so when you want to start putting in instruments, the first thing you got to do is decide what instruments to track and which ones you're going to be playing. And so for us, this Sunday we have a keyboard. We have a keyboard, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, bass, and drums that'll be playing along with some other vocals. So for me, I'm kind of more interested in kind of adding some depth to some of the lead lines and adding depth to some of the pad stuff and some of the low end. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and play this little lead line that's in the song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lead track here and I'm going to drag in the instruments and the effects to kind of make something similar to that, not exactly the same. But I'm going to use a piano sound, and I have one saved here that I can just drag into this track. And now you can see this track is recording, and we can hear what the sound of this piano sounds like. So I'm going to make just a few changes. I think we need a little bit more reverb here. And we're going to add some delay as well. So I just use this master search box to find kind of all the stuff. And they do kind of a slapback delay, but I'm going to do more of a dotted eighth note delay. So we'll put that in here and see how that sounds. Okay, so that's way too wet of a signal. We don't want that much delay. We don't need that much feedback either. We just want a little hint of that. That's a little bit closer. Maybe a little bit more. A little less feedback. Yeah, I like that sound. And we're going to add some EQ on top of that to give it just kind of a crisper sound as well. So let's look at our EQ. And we really don't need any of the low stuff there at all, the kind of dark part of that piano. We're going to maybe do something like this. Let's see. Let's take some more of this out. And let's try this maybe. As this makes it a little bit brighter, it's going to stand out over top of the mix a little bit more. Without, it's kind of a warmer, darker sound. So that sounds pretty good. We'll maybe make some adjustments of that as we go. But when we're ready to record, all I do is I can start here, and I've made this a MIDI track, so it will record this as specific notes. So I'll show you how that works. I'm going to hit the record, it'll count us in, and we'll play it.
Intro, 2, 3, 4. Verse, 2, 3, 4.
So I just made this recording here. Let's go look and see how that looks. What you'll notice is when you select a track or a clip here, there's two parts. There's the MIDI information and there's the instrument itself. So I could go back and change this. I could take off the delay or bring it down. It's maybe a little too much delay with it. And and adjust it as we go. Let's take this off here. So now when I come and look at this, I can look at the MIDI and I can make adjustments. If I were to have played a wrong note or messed it up, I can adjust the notes, but I can also adjust the lengths of these to kind of lock in a little bit better to the beat. So I'm going to highlight all of this, and I'm going to right click and go to quantize settings, and quantizing is what will lock MIDI information into the grid. So I'm going to go to a quarter note start and end, which means that the start and end of each of these MIDI notes will be adjusted to fit quarter note beat, and now it just kind of locks them in. Now one of these I didn't hold out quite long enough. Oops. So if I wanted to adjust the length of this to the end, I could do that too. So now it's really locked on. That sounds pretty good. And the nice thing is now that I have this little lead, I can copy and paste that over on everything. And I can also play it. We'll have the electric guitar double this part, but that way the keys don't have to play both pad on top of that lead line with what the electric guitar is doing. So let's go to the next part. We're going to add some of the pad. And one thing that you'll hear, I'm going to turn off our lead, is in the recording, they have a really high kind of grainy pad on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my pad 1 here, and I'm going to look at our pads, and I'm going to use that as the basis for our sound here. So when I play that pad, that kind of sounds how I want it to. There's some other things we can maybe do that. It's maybe too sparkly on top. We could EQ that out as well. But what I'm going to do is make it a little bit darker in the background. So I'm going to find a reverb that's like a dark reverb. Here's a dark hall reverb, and I will play that. And I'm going to turn the dry wet down so it's not, it's maybe turning down how much of that comes through. Just something really light and faint on top to kind of adds to some of the movement when there's this gap in the lead line. So I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn my click on too to help me hear a little bit better. And let's record just a little bit of that at the beginning.
Intro 2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so you'll see I accidentally did hit a wrong note here, and this sounds pretty bad when you kind of hit a black note there. So it's really easy to go and delete that.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
And you'll notice I outlined really simple chords. I was doing just the 1 and the 5 of each of these chords, and even that is really too much movement. So when you're doing these kind of pads, especially when they're up high, you kind of want to stick to the most simple kind of thing you could find. That was too much. We're gonna try and just put the 5 of the scale. So we're playing this in A. So I'm gonna put the E up on top and see how that sounds. Maybe the A and the E together.
Intro 2, 3, 4.
Oops, wrong octave. Let me try that one more time.
2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
The moon and stars they went, the morning sun was spent.
So this is super simple what I'm playing, but what I'm trying to do is, because of the long attack and release time, to kind of have some of that movement happening.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So that's the kind of thing we can do with some of these pads up high. We can use a separate pad for some other things, but I'll maybe throw in some bass. I love using the cello sound that I found here to be able to do that part. It really adds to the interesting depth in having another octave down as well. So let's play. Let's find the octave we're in. And let's record that.
Intro 2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
So here we added some of those elements there. We can go in here and fix notes. We can change things. But let's listen to what we've put together so far. I'm going to make this an 8th note grid. Kind of align these up a little bit better. Oops. And now this
3,
is our intro.
4. Verse 2, 3, 4.
It's just an example of how you can find different sounds, how you can put them in. One thing to note is that there's lots of online places you can buy and download packs of instruments. Having lots of instruments and lots of effects is going to help you create a lot of diversity in sounds, which really helps when you're creating some of these things. But I hope that's helpful in just getting started in how you put parts down in Ableton Live. Thanks.